against the Lord. No one can, no one will. Who will stand against our King? No one can, no one will. Oh, who will stand against the Lord? No one can, no one will. Who will stand against our King? No one can.
Hello, boys and girls. It's story time again. Our story this week is Trombone, Shorty. This book is written by Troy Trombone Shorty Andrews. This is a true story. Let's find out where in the world did he get that name, Trombone Shorty. Where you at? Where you at? We have our own way of living down here in New Orleans, and our way of talking too. And that's what we like to do when we want to tell a friend hello. We say, where you at? Where you at? Lots of kids have nicknames, but I want to tell you the story of how I got mine. Just like when you listen to your favorite song, let's begin at the beginning, because this is a story about music. But before you can understand how music and what music means to me, what you have to know is how important music is to my hometown. It's my greatest inspiration. I grew up in a neighborhood in New Orleans called Trombone. Any time of day or night, you could hear music floating in the air. And there was music in my house, too. My big brother, James, played the trumpet. He would play it so loud you could hear him halfway across the town. He was the leader of his own band, and my friends and I would pretend that we were in the band, too. James would say, "Follow me, follow me." I love the brass bands with their own trumpets and trombones, saxophones, and the biggest brass instrument of them all, the tuba, which rested all over the musician's head like it was an elephant's trunk. And they would all say, "Where you at? Where you at?" The musicians would call that out. All day long, I could see brass bands parade by my house while my neighbors danced along with it. I love these parades, especially during Mardi Gras, because they made everybody forget about the troubles for a little while. People didn't have a lot of money in Trombone, but we always had a lot of music. I listened to all these sounds and I mixed them together, just like how we make our food. We take one big pot and we throw in sausage, crab, shrimp, chicken, vegetables, rice, and anything else we could find in the kitchen, and we stir it all together and let it cook. When it's done, it has the most delicious taste you've ever tried. We call it gumbo, and that's what I wanted my music to sound like different styles combined to create my music gumbo. But first, I needed an instrument. The great thing about music is that if you don't even need a real instrument, you can pretend you have one. So my friends and I decided we would make our own. We may have sounded a little different from the real brass bands, but we felt like we were the greatest musicians of Tremé. We were making music, and that's all that mattered. Then one day, I found a broken trombone that looked too beaten up to make music anyway. It didn't sound perfect, but finally, with a real instrument in my hand, boy, was I ready to play. The next time the parade went by my house, I grabbed that trombone and I headed out into the street. My brother James noticed me playing along and he smiled proudly and he said, "Go, Trombone, Shorty." He called that out because the instrument was twice my size. "Where you at? Where you at?" Everyone from that day on started calling me Trombone Shorty. I took that trombone everywhere that I went, and I never stopped playing. It was so small, that sometimes I fell right to the ground because it was so heavy. But I always got back up, and I learned to hold that trombone up high. I listened to my brother play songs over and over, and I taught myself those same songs too. I practiced day and night, and sometimes I fell asleep with my trombone in my hands. And there he is asleep in bed with his trombone. One day, my mom surprised me with tickets to go to the New Orleans Jazz Heritage Festival, the best and the biggest music festival in town. We went to see Bo Diddley, who was my mom's favorite and one of the most important musicians of all time. As I watched him on stage, I raised my trombone to my lips and I started to play along with him. All of a sudden, he stopped his band in the middle of the song and he asked the crowd, "Wait a minute, who is that playing out there?" Would you answer if it were you playing in the middle of his concert? Let's see if he does. Everyone started pointing, but Bo Diddley couldn't see me because I was the smallest one in the place. So my mom held me up in the air and she said, "It's my son, Trombone Shorty." "Well, Trombone Shorty, you come on up here," Bo Diddley said to him. Let's see if he goes. The crowd passed me overhead until I was standing on the stage next to Bo Diddley himself. I walked right up to that microphone and I held my trombone up high in the air and I was ready to blow. "What do you want me to play?" Bo Diddley asked. I told him, "Follow me, just follow me." And after I played with Bo Diddley, I knew I was ready to have my own band. I got my friends together and we called ourselves the 5 o'clock band because that was the time we went out to play each day after finishing our homework. Did you hear that, boys and girls? After finishing their homework. We played all around New Orleans. I practiced, and soon my brother James asked me to join his band. When people wondered, who in the world is that kid in his band, my brother would say, "That's my little brother, Trombone Shorty. Where you at? Where you at?" And now I have my own band and it's called Trombone Shorty and the Orleans Avenue. It was named after a street in Tremé. I've played all over the world, but I always come back to my home, New Orleans. And when I'm home, I make sure to keep my eyes on the younger musicians in town and help them out, just like my brother helped me. Today, I play the same New Orleans Jazz Festival where I once played with Bo Diddley. And when the performance ends, I lead a parade of musicians around just like I used to do in the streets of Tremé with me and my friends. Where you at? Where you at? I still keep my trombone in my hands, and I will never let it go. Boys and girls, I told you this is a true story. I'm going to show you a picture of the real Trombone Shorty. So for those of you that like to play instruments, keep practicing. I am Carolyn Lloyd from Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. I hope you've enjoyed our story.